Welcome back, everybody. My name is Andy, the finance guy, and we're going to be talking about why do I invest in the three main stocks that I do, and why is my portfolio so concentrated? Currently, I invest in mainly just three: Costco, Microsoft, and Google. I used to have a fourth stock, Apple. However, I sold that and put the proceeds into S&P 500. But mainly, I invest in just those three. Now, with Microsoft and Costco, I have a very similar reasoning on why I invest in those two compared to Google. Let's get it started with Microsoft. Why do I invest in Microsoft? I have about 40% of my approximate net worth in Microsoft, and it's because Microsoft is one of those companies that is extremely predictable to me, and I'm willing to pay a premium for that predictability. For example, the way that majority of their business lines is essentially all reoccurring revenue. They have the Microsoft Azure growth, they have Microsoft Business Suite, they have Xbox Game Pass. All of those are just reoccurring revenues. And one of the things that really caught my attention about Microsoft and why I ended up starting to invest in Microsoft in 2020 is because in 2020, even though we had a pandemic going on, and during the pandemic, a lot of companies had less revenues than the previous year. Not with Microsoft. Microsoft actually killed it in 2020. They had a bigger revenue growth in 2020 compared to the previous year. And it's because of their reoccurring revenue that even during a recession like the pandemic, people just can't get rid of their Azure growth, right? You can't just stop your Microsoft cloud computing. You can't be stopping your emails. You can't be stopping your Xbox. A lot of people actually game during the recession because it's one of those things that even during a recession, you want to find a nice way to relax. And the Xbox Game Pass is a perfect way for that. And with Microsoft, I think about their growth plan. How hard is Microsoft? What do they have to do to grow their business? What do they have to do to grow their customer base? The nice thing is the infrastructure is already built out. So for any additional user on the cloud, any additional user on the Xbox Game Pass, on their business suite, it doesn't take that much work. To add on a new customer, to get new clients, that expense is not big at all. Now, I know they are trying to build a new business line with the Microsoft AI. I have personally started using Microsoft AI Copilot. I've enjoyed it. I've been using it for 1 week now. I love it. The main difference that I like about the Microsoft AI compared to a regular YouTube search or a Google search is that with a Microsoft AI, when you look at on Bing, not only are you able to pull up information from the internet, you're also able to pull up information from the email as well. So it links with your Outlook and it gives you information with your Outlook. Like for example, if you look at a particular procedure, you also it's gonna give you information on your email. It's gonna look at that anything related to, let's say, a banking procedure. It's gonna look through my email and give me that information. It's been super useful that Microsoft AI is not gonna just destroy Google. That Google has its own Gemini business going on. Now, the one thing I really like about Microsoft is that predictability piece that I can depend on Microsoft during good economies and bad economies. That even during a recession, I can still see Microsoft doing well. I can't imagine a world where we have a recession and you're gonna cut off your Microsoft cloud business, you're going to cut off your business enterprise suite. It's difficult for me to see that. I can make a mistake. It can definitely happen, but I just don't think the likeliness of it is there. That's the prediction that I'm willing to make. And that's why I have about 40% of my net worth in Microsoft alone. Now, the next stock is going to be Costco. I can say that Costco is probably my number one stock or company in the whole entire world. I've been shopping at Costco ever since I was a very young kid. The main one thing I really like about Costco is that also the predictability aspect. Just like Microsoft, it can make money during good times, good economies, and also during recessions. I remember during 2007, 2008, 2009, Costco was still busy. No matter what, you still need groceries. Even during 2020, can you imagine when all the businesses were shutting down, all the businesses were losing traffic? Costco actually had a line during 2020. I had to wait maybe a 40-minute wait just to get into a Costco during the pandemic. The one thing I really like about that business model is that they don't make a majority of business on the margins. They don't have to depend on customers coming in. Majority of the business is coming from the subscription business, which is no surprise at this point. And the nice thing I really like about that subscription business is that it's reoccurring, it's yearly reoccurring, and out of 100 people that sign up for a Costco membership, approximately 93 of them are gonna sign up for another membership the next year. And that's a retention that's even better than Netflix itself. I just really love that business model where they don't have to worry about selling the products. They can focus on making the products as cheap as they can be so that the clients get more value for it, for that membership. Now, if I remember the last time I looked into the Costco margins, that most items on Costco are being sold at approximately 11% margins. All right, they're trying to sell it at least margins as possible. This is as compared to other grocery stores in that same field that is charging around 25 to 50% margins. Now, somebody asked me before, Andy, if you like people that are still busy during recessions, why not Walmart? Isn't Walmart just a cheaper Costco? Not exactly, because Walmart, the main way they make money is from customers coming in. They have to constantly have customers come in to make money. It's not like a membership business that Costco has, where Costco, let's say in a week where not a lot of customers come in, it's fine. They still are making that reoccurring revenue. And with Walmart, they always have to make sure that they're selling the products at a margin, at a higher margin, so that because that's where majority of their money comes from, right? Whereas Costco can focus on making the product as cheap as possible and just making money off the membership model. And this way, customers can see that Costco is doing an active job lowering the prices as compared to its competitors, where they might try to increase the prices to increase their profits. Another thing I really like about Costco is, let's say Costco wants to expand its business. How difficult is it? Is it a pace where they have to create a new drug like Eli Lilly, and that's like you have to hit a home run? Not exactly. The way that Costco can really grow their business by multiply their business, it's just creating new stores, something that they've already done before. That is nothing new for Costco. They've opened so many thousands of stores, and what's it gonna take to open more stores? Not much, because they have the experience. And for each Costco store they open internationally, they actually get more members internationally in Asia specifically as compared to the US. In US, it's about 150,000 membership per Costco store, but in Asia, it can even exceed 200 members per store. And that's a crazy growth that I see, in my opinion, and that's why I invested in it. One of the big issue that I do have with Costco though is its valuation. It's typically trades at a higher valuation. It's currently trading at around 50 plus PE ratio. Now, why is this a big issue? Is that when I bought into Costco in the past, in 2020, it was also trading at a high valuation. I can always think of every time I bought into Costco, it's always been at a higher PE ratio. There was never really a point where I bought into Costco at a cheaper price. It's one of those companies that's overpriced, but it's overpriced for a reason. If you want to invest in a cheap stock, there are companies like Nikola, AMC, but they're cheap for a reason. I currently have 40% of my net worth in Costco, and it's actually one of the companies that I believe I'm going to be holding for almost a lifetime, because I can't see myself selling a company that has a business model like Costco. It's going to take a lot. Obviously, I could be wrong. I might be selling it, but at this moment in time, I could see myself holding it for decades to come. Now, the next company we're going to be talking about is Google. Now, I invested in Google a little bit different reasons than the other two, because Google is a little bit more unpredictable as compared to Microsoft and Costco. Why? Is that because during good economies, Google is doing great. But during recessions, during bad economies, people actually slow down on their advertising spend. People don't advertise as much during a recession. So as a result, during recessions, Google can have big pullbacks because it can be impacted. Now, why do I love Google though? I believe that the YouTube premium business is gonna keep on growing. Currently, it only makes up about 10% of the business revenue. However, I believe it's gonna be a bigger part of Google. Why? It's because the way I see it, I gone personally through YouTube Premium. I've gotten out of YouTube Premium, and I couldn't live my life without without the ad-free aspect. Having to go through YouTube with ads is a crazy time. I just could not handle it. And I thought to myself, if I'm as addicted, if somebody that's frugal like me is as addicted to YouTube, then I have a feeling that other people will be more addicted and they'll be buying more into Google in the future because of that YouTube business. Now, I do realize that YouTube has a big issue that's coming up right now. That is regarding the lawsuits with this ad business revenue. Now, why is this one the biggest issue? Is because the ad business makes up about 50% of the revenue, approximately 50, as compared to YouTube making around only 10%. Now, why do I still invest in Google even though with the losses happening? Is because I believe that with the talks of Google being broken up, that is the worst possible case scenario. All right, that's the extreme end of the spectrum. I don't believe the worst case scenario with Google will occur. Will there be some changes? Absolutely. But will there be changes to the point where they get broken up? That's a prediction that I'm making that is not going to happen. And as a result, I'm actually using it as a buying opportunity for the stock. Because when you look at its pricing, when you look at its valuations, it's actually valuated cheaper than the S&P 500 itself. And I actually believe that Google itself is better than majority of the companies within the S&P 500 itself. And as a result, that's why I believe it's underpriced currently, and I'm continuously buying it with the expectation that's going to keep on going up in the future, increasing its revenue, increasing its cash flows with this lawsuit once it's behind them. One aspect of Google that I believe is underrated, which is that YouTube premium part. I believe as time goes on, more and more users are gonna move to YouTube Premium because the advantages you get from YouTube Premium, that $30 you spend, you actually get a family plan, just like you used to have with Netflix. You get the entertainment, you get the educational, you get the news part, and I can't see another company destroying the moat of that YouTube business because the YouTube business, even though you have places like Netflix, things like Disney Plus, they have to spend so much money to produce that content. Whereas with YouTube, maybe I'm a little bit biased here, but the cost for YouTube production is just not that much. They don't have to pay their creators as much as that Netflix has to create their to buying complete full shows. Now, in terms of Google's growth for the future, similar to Microsoft in that aspect, that it doesn't cost that much money to bring in new users. For the growth of YouTube, growth of the Google Cloud, I actually really like that growth model because in order to get new clients, they just don't have to spend that much. And the way that they can grow, it has because they have a low expense on gaining new clients, they can work on making sure that products are getting better and better. With Google Gemini coming out with their AI aspect, I believe that Google will still be the number one in the ad business, in the search business, because even though you have other search business going on, typically from other industries, whenever you're the number one player in your industry, you typically still take majority of the market share. I don't know what the DOJ is going to do to change that. I don't know what they can do to change that because so far there's so many of us are accustomed to anytime we have a question to always go for Google. I hold 10% of my portfolio into Google, and my other 10% is going to be S&P 500. I do plan on changing that later on in the future because I like investing in individual stocks. The only time I invest in S&P 500 is mainly my 401k. Now, in terms of what company I would replace my S&P 500 with, I have been considering of Amazon. The thing about Amazon is that if I buy into Amazon, then I'm going to have three cloud stocks, and I just think that's a little bit too concentrated into one particular industry. I would have Amazon AWS, Microsoft Azure, and I have Google Cloud, all three. And as a result, hence I'm waiting on not buying Amazon. I might think of another company that's a little bit different industry, maybe in the financials, maybe in the food stock, but hence that's my current portfolio right now, and that's how I'm managing my money. Now, this has been working out for me for a while now, and if it didn't work out for me, I would definitely change it. For example, if I was not overperforming the S&P 500, why would I keep on losing the chance to make more money? I would obviously change it to S&P 500 and just stick with the market index gains. Now, if you guys have any predictions or any particular companies that you want me to take a look into, feel free to put that in the comments because if there's a company that can increase my portfolio gains, why wouldn't I want to do that? I'm always looking out for new stocks to add to my portfolio. Feel free to always let me know, and I'll see you next time.